I wear 3 hats on any given movie. Sometimes I wear 1, sometimes I wear 2. Baby Driver, I wore 3. So supervising sound editor is the person that's responsible of running the team of other sound editors. And I kind of have 2 roles. One is to the producer to make sure I bring it in on budget unless something comes along that the goalposts are changed and I need to reevaluate the budget. And then also to the director to make sure that he or she, their realization of what they're looking for with the soundtrack comes to fruition. That's at the very least, and hopefully more than that, I push it on and show them things that perhaps they hadn't thought of before. So that's the supervising sound editor. The sound designer is a person who comes up with hopefully new and unique sounds, whether it's spaceships or whooshes or crazy sounds that you don't normally think of. And then as the re-recording mixer, I'm sitting on that nice big long mixing desk with lots of faders, pushing them up and down and balancing the dialogue with the music, with the effects, with the Foley. Well, with Baby Driver, I come on board much earlier than I normally do. Someone like myself as either the sound designer or the supervising sound editor normally comes on board after the director's cut, which is around 10 weeks. But because of my relationship with Edgar and the fact we've done 5 movies together now, I come on board quite early. I think I came on board week 3 of the director's cut, so he's only just kind of started assembling the movie together after the shoot at that point. The director is definitely the most important, the most kind of frequent collaborator with regards to everything. There's the picture editors as well. But as I say, with Edgar, he likes to have me in the room next door to his picture cutting room. So he'll literally finish a sequence, give me a call, I come in, watch the sequence, we'll have a discussion about it, and then I go into my room, start working on it, come up with some ideas, and then he comes in and has a listen and says, yeah, I like that, carry on that thread, or that's not quite right. So with Edgar, it's definitely it's a more cohesive process because I'm literally in the room next door to him. Yeah, having long-term collaborators is definitely more fruitful. It breeds an environment of creativity, and it's like you're not afraid to make suggestions that are probably crazy and stupid, and I mean not nicely stupid. You know, if you work, I akin it to being on a date with someone for the first time. If you go on a date with someone for the first time, you're kind of probably trying to convey a certain image of yourself that, you know, is the nicest possible image. But if you have a long term with your wife, you can, you know, you're just yourself and you say things that, you know, are a bit crazy sometimes, but they're the truth. So yeah, Edgar's a very smart director. He's got long-term collaborations between the picture editors and his composer and his DOP and his production designer. So that breeds a fertile ground for creativity, I think. I mean, every single sequence in the movie was a challenge because of the whole, or twofold. We wanted to convey the soundscape through Baby's perspective. So doing things that are very non-conventional, like if Baby pulls out his right earbud, we throw the music onto the left-hand side of the mix for sometimes a whole scene, which is very unconventional. And it was more a question of cracking little puzzles, like how do you syncopate police sirens over a 3-minute sequence and make them sound realistic and make them sound musical. So I like to think that Baby Driver it's a bit of a 3D oral puzzle that we had to crack, and each sequence has its own set of challenges. Working with that set of music was great. I mean, it was a bit of a challenge to mix it because one thinks that Barry White sounds lush and beautiful, which it does, but if you put it up on in a cinema environment and set of speakers, it actually doesn't sound as great as you would hope it would, so you've got to kind of do a remastering process. But if there's ever a movie that you're not constantly tapping your toes to, it's Baby Driver, because it's just a great selection, a wide selection of, you know, great music. I always wanted to get into sound. From having a Sony cassette Walkman and listening to it in bed and go to sleep listening to music. I used to tape the top 40 with Tommy Vance on Radio 1 and do kind of pause button editing. And then I saw a documentary which was Ben Burt on Star Wars explaining how he came up with the sounds of the TIE fighters and Chewbacca and the blasters. And so I knew I wanted to get into sound, and I studied at the School of Audio Engineering for a year because I thought I wanted to get into music production. And I kind of fell into the TV and film side, so which I'm glad for obvious reasons. But yeah, perseverance, working hard, and treating people with respect around you and who work for you. Yeah, I've never been on set. I think I've been on set once in my 25 years of doing this. I get involved with questions and information, and you know, Edgar's producer would call me to say, we're doing this setup tomorrow, how would you like it? But I never go on set, which is a shame, because that's one end of the spectrum and I'm this end of the spectrum, and never the twain shall meet. But I started off doing TV stuff and things like spooks for Kudos and Life on Mars we did when I had my company. And then I used to split between doing TV and feature films, and then 10, 11 years ago I decided to concentrate purely on feature films. So that's what I do now, movies. I would definitely give a direct message to anybody who's looking to chase their dreams. I am the embodiment that you can do it. I really am. I'm from a very small town in Suffolk, and when I went to see my careers officer and they said, tell me anything you want to do and I'll try and make it work. And I said, I want to get into sound. And he said, well, that's great. He said, but I can offer you a job at the local bank if you like, as work experience. And I decided I didn't want to do that, and I just wanted to push through. So keep at it, keep chipping away. Everything's possible. It's a little bit of luck, it's talent, and it is just don't stop chasing your dreams.